All right, what's good, what's cracking, what's popping, what's bueno? It's making you think here. We back out here in these streets. So have that seat, because today we're going to be talking about the Order 1886. And this needs to be talked about because lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people are having doubts about this game. Like they're having doubts about this game to the point where they think this game is going to be a massive flop. Like they think we about to get like Alien Isolation or some shit like that. No. And I'm here to explain what we should be expecting from the Order 1886 so that you guys don't have to worry as much and so that you guys can get the real story. Okay? Because I know a lot of these people automatically assuming that it's going to flop because it's single player only. But I mean, I just have stuff to talk about and I'm going to tell you guys everything. So let's get right into it, shall we? So like I said, people are pretty skeptical about this game because one of the main reasons I've heard is that they haven't seen enough gameplay, which is true. I'm not gonna lie. We didn't get we didn't get like actually some more variety of gameplay until the PlayStation Experience, which was last year in December 2014. So I'm not gonna lie, I can't agree with you guys on that because yeah, we only had like 2 clips of gameplay. We just had everything we've judged from the trailers, and then I remember back in February of last year, I think exactly a year ago, they were releasing like all these teaser clips of like gameplay, but it finally showed off like some type of official gameplay. So we got a little bit of a preview from that, but obviously it wasn't enough. And then more gameplay came out during E3. It was good gameplay. It was considered good gameplay, but the problem was people were still very skeptical because they pretty much said it was too short. And I can agree with them on that because the E3 demo, it was done on a main stage. It was how long? Like maybe like 5 minutes, 7 minutes tops. I'd say it was the gameplay where it's Galahad and the Lycan, like it's an encounter with the Lycan. Because when it comes to Order 1886 gameplay, we've seen more like against humans than the Lycans, which kind of is one of my worries too, which I'll get into later. But so at that time, it was like June 2014 when E3 happened. We only had like 2 gameplay snippets. And then we didn't get gameplay all the way again until PlayStation Experience. And we've been getting a lot more trailers within these past couple months ever since the game is releasing next week on Friday, February 20th. So that kind of is to be expected. But that's one of the biggest reasons though, because people feel like they haven't seen enough gameplay, but now I feel like there's a decent amount of gameplay out now. So that's kind of a game you should judge for yourself. Pretty much. I know we all have our own opinions, and I respect that because I also have my own opinions, just like I'm sharing my opinions out on this video. So moving on to the next thing, people think the fact that this is just a single player only game, some people are thinking that this game is going to flop just because it's a single player only game. How I feel about single player only games: I do not have a problem with single-player games whatsoever. I just ask for the very least a 10-hour campaign. The very least. I usually recommend like a 12-hour campaign or so, but a 10-hour campaign is the least to be expected for a single-player only game. And a lot of people do forget that usually, not every game, but usually, when a game is single player only, it's either a hit or miss, basically, with these single player only games. You can either have a really good single player only game, example of BioShock Infinite, or you can have like just a downright shit one because your campaign was too short. There's literally no replay value, and those are the attributes that showcase basically what a shit single player only game is. Infamous was a single player only game as well. Second Son to be specific. But Infamous 1 and 2 were also single player only games. They are good. Obviously they're not the greatest things in sliced bread, but they're good. They're entertaining enough. They have their replay value to make it a solid title. And God of War 3, that was also another single player only game. And did you see how fucking great that game was? That was fucking single player only. Okay. That shit got hella real. God of War 3, one of the best games of last gen. Don't get me started in that game, because that game goes fucking ham. And I'm sure all of you agree with that. Which brings me to my next point. This game is mainly getting developed by Ready at Dawn. But they have assistance from Sony Santa Monica. You want to know what Sony Santa Monica makes? God of War. That's right. With the quality that Sony Santa Monica has put in all these God of War games, and Ready at Dawn, even though despite them not having their own IP, because their games have usually been PSP games, they've never made a console game until the Order 86. They've only done like God of War, Chains of Olympus, and God of War Ghost of Sparta, and they even did Daxter, I think. They might have done Secret Agent Clank, or whatever the fuck his name is, Ratchet and Skank. They're irrelevant anyway, but back to my point. What I'm trying to say is, Ready at Dawn is somebody you can trust. Sony Santa Monica, that is definitely somebody you can trust. So there is no reason to be worried about the developer doing a good job or not. Now, what I've kind of been expecting from the Order 1886, the Order 1886, kind of like a tongue twister a little bit. But anyway, what I think about it in general, I think it's going to be a good, solid title. It's probably not going to be the greatest thing since sliced bread, because judging it off of the gameplay, it tends to be like not necessarily your typical third-person shooter, but it's a pristine third-person shooter. Like, everything is fine-tuned to the right place. The game is where it needs to be. The mechanics look very smooth. It looks like it can be as smooth as Gears of War. It has all the cover mechanics. It's got the shooting out of cover. It's got, from what it looks like, it's got all the third-person shooter attributes. And in my opinion, I really enjoy third-person shooters, especially because I have faith that this is going to be a quality third-person shooter. And one thing that I can agree with everybody with that they really should have fucking done for this game is have co-op. The Order 1886. That game is screaming co-op. There are 4 main characters, and it's single player only. Like, this game really had the potential. It kind of does a little bit, but I think the single player only experience kind of hurts it from being it. But I think the Order 1886 could have been PlayStation's Gears of War. It really could have been. But I don't know if they'll do it. But I'm really hoping that the Order 1886, they will add co-op in a DLC form maybe, but I actually won't be able to tell if that is a possibility until I play the game for myself, because we'll have to see if like certain parts, like, oh yeah, it truly is meant for single player, or if it's like, god damn it, we could have been controlling one of these guys. But this game looks like it is screaming co-op, and I think if this game had co-op from the get-go, it would have sparked a lot of people's interest right off the bat. Like, not that this game doesn't have anybody's interest already. It's just that, you know, like I said, they're very skeptical about the whole single player only thing and the replay value and all of that and how they haven't seen gameplay. But this game just, it could have, like, there's stuff they could have added, like the co-op. But like I said, we'll see when the official game comes out on February 20th. We'll see if it really was meant for co-op, or if it truly is a single player experience. But multiplayer, I'm not too mad about this game not having a multiplayer. I mean, it would have been really cool for this game to have multiplayer, but they didn't add it because, from what I remember, the article I read a long time ago, they said if they made a multiplayer, it would have been really half-assed and all this shit, because their main focus is the single player campaign. Now, this game too, really, this game will either be a good, decent, solid title, or it can be a good, decent, solid title when it comes to gameplay. It could possibly have one of the greatest plots we see this year. The plot is very interesting. I'm very interested to see where they're going to take the direction of that, because the plot can really make this game really good, since this is what the game has to depend on besides the gameplay. But that's all I have to say. I will be getting to Order 1886. I'm debating about doing a walkthrough. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And when Order 1886 comes out, it's about to get hella real.